Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two Wavy Girls on the Internet. We are so excited that you are here. I'm Allison Lupo.
And I'm Wavy Curly Courtney. We celebrate all things wavy curly and wonderfully real.
And we play around with all the products and read the back of the bottle so that you do not have to for at least 2 more episodes. So we've got this one, we've got next week's episode. We just have 2 more in season 2. And Courtney, I want to give us like a round of applause because I'm so proud of us getting through another season of this podcast. We've gotten so many downloads on Apple Music. I look at it all the time and I just see that number climbing. It makes me feel so good. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast, for leaving reviews, for downloading. As my last client said, she's going to listen to this tonight when she's on her walk. She's like, I got to get out of your hair because I need to listen to this podcast on my walk tonight. It's my routine. And that just made my day. So Beth, I'm going to have you on the podcast sometime soon. So if you're listening, you're going to be on the podcast at some point.
Fun.
I'm going to kidnap her and make her be on it with me. So it'll be so much fun. So
Allison, we have our absolute best podcast voices today. I feel like this might be our most soothing, calming, best podcast voices right now.
Finally got the microphone working. You've had it working all along. I've learned a lot of things, you guys. I was using a microphone that did not come with a receiver. I didn't know I needed a receiver. I'm not saying it's not my electromagnetic field. I'm very magnetic, apparently, but
magnetic personality.
I learned some things, but today's topic is really exciting. We're going to be talking about a couple things. One, we're going to check in with our 30-day Grateful Curls Challenge. Of course, we want to know where you guys are on that. We're going to talk about our own progress. I've got some notes to share. I definitely have some things that have happened. I've had to reconfigure a little bit. So this has been really, really interesting for me. And then, of course, we're also going to be talking about why your waves are not holding. Courtney and I crowdsourced this from our respective audiences, and we learned that your waves are not holding. The waves are not waving. What do we need to do to make that happen? Courtney, would you like to jump in and start? What did your audience tell you? What's the problem? And let's talk about your hair. If you guys are watching, Courtney's hair is, number one, blindingly glossy. And number 2, I mean, almost straight. And it's beautiful. Isn't it wonderful being a wavy where we can wear it both ways? We are truly lucky. I mean, your hair is glorious and magical. And the back is curlier because I can see it when you turned around just then that it still wants to do like a thing. It will not be stopped. She knows what she wants.
She does. But she's a little confused right now. And typically around this time of year, I get more and more questions from my audience, from people just reaching out in my DMs, in YouTube comments going, my hair was curling. It was wavy. I could almost call myself a curly girl. And now I can't. I don't know what's going wrong. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Why is my hair no longer waving? Why is my hair no longer curling? Guys, have y'all looked outside? It is cold. It is dry. And it is incredibly common for people with a looser curl pattern or finer hair for their curl pattern to stretch out when the air gets drier and colder. That has a lot to do with humidity and dew points. It just does. So I am here today.
You're not alone.
If you are watching on YouTube, you can see me. But if you are not watching on YouTube and you are listening via Apple Podcasts or one of the many podcast platforms, 1, thank you. You're awesome. 2, if you could do us a quick favor and leave a 5-star review, you really have no idea how much that helps us out and how much we love and appreciate that. Your little heart would explode. It's just wonderful when people do that. And we are terribly grateful for it.
And we work for the compliments. At the end of the day, we work for the fact that people are like, hey, you changed my life. There's nothing like being told that. That is a magical, magical thing to be told. So
I don't know about you, Allison, but my love language is words of affirmation. So yes, I do it for the compliments. Thank you very much.
Same.
Not really. I do it because I remember how I felt when I felt like I had bad hair and I would never be good enough because I just had bad hair. And then I realized, oh wait, no, my hair isn't bad hair. It's actually just wavy curly and it has different needs. So I started really nurturing it, nourishing it and loving on it. And then, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, somehow nurturing and nourishing and loving on my hair, which I thought was broken and messed up for so long, fixed this deep, deep, deep insecurity that I had deep down in the core of my soul that I didn't even know was there anymore. It had been there for so long. that healed. And I finally realized that I am in fact actually fearfully and wonderfully made. So just because your waves went away doesn't mean that now that magical part of you that you loved and embraced so much is now gone forever and you need to despair. Oh, nay, nay. We are here to talk about why your waves aren't holding and the real reasons your hair is falling flat. First off, yes, we are in December. That is one major reason for your waves and curls falling flat right now. So just take a deep breath, give yourself some grace. I know we're in the Grateful Curls Challenge wherein we have locked in our products and we are not switching things up, but now might be the time to make minor tweaks and adjustments to your routine for the sake of the weather. Number two, you may be in a season like I am, where I am on Mission Mermaid once again. I'm growing my hair out as long as I possibly can, as fast as I possibly can. And keep in mind, the longer your hair grows, the more gravity is going to pull on each individual one of your hair strands. Longer hair means more weight, means is heavier. Give yourself some grace again with the longer hair. What are you thinking, Allison?
I'm wondering if with Mission Mermaid happening in your life right now, if we're going to be cutting 10 inches off of your hair again sometime soon. Is that the goal?
No.
Is that what you're going to be hiring me for? Are we going to be cutting 10 inches off your hair? Do not do it yourself, Courtney. You may
I will not do it myself. Oh, this is another video for another day. We probably should have been a podcast topic, but I need to review the haircut that I gave myself. Like, oh gosh, I want to say it was 10 months ago. It was a while ago, but it was the Wayne Tuggle haircut. So many people loved it. I don't think I executed it right. And I am fighting my haircut, which leads to reason number 3. Your waves and curls may be falling flat. You may not have the right haircut for your hair current length. Like, I need so much help, Allison. My curls are not sitting right. I am fighting my hair every time I go to wash and style it. It's just not wanting to fall naturally into its curl family. It's mad at me.
Is this the leftover haircut that you did? And when I say leftover, I mean a longer grow up period that you did when you were following, what's his name? I cannot remember his name. Wade. Yes, when he would pull the layers across and cut them. Is this that?
Yes, I think so. And it's no shade to him.
No, not at all.
I did it wrong.
Well, I
whacked off massive chunks of my hair kind of willy-nilly. I didn't use the precision that I now know is required for a proper haircut. This was even before I started cosmetology school. And I said in that video, Courtney in cosmetology school may regret past Courtney doing this. And guess what? She was right. I did regret.
I disagree. I disagree with your regret because I think you learned a lot doing that. But I think a couple of things. When you are Wade Tuggle and you get to like pull that hair forward and do it, remember that he still has the benefit of a 360-degree view around you. You still don't have that. So it might be a great at-home haircut because waves and curls can be forgiving, like for a little while.
Yes.
But I think it could really also lead to a lot of shelfiness because waves and curls tend to lend themselves to having shelves. Like I have this chunk right here I've talked about in the past that I've broken up quite a bit because I basically cut myself bangs, but now those little bangs are tucked into my waves and curls and not chunky. So let me rewind a little bit. So he had the benefit of the 360-degree view, right? So he could do that haircut that you did on you, but then he could do step number 2, which was go around and precision cut those little bits to erase any shelfiness, to find those little bits and pieces that, you know, some of those ends needed friends. He could cut those to create more definition. He could maybe break up an area that looked a little bit chunky, find a wave next to a curl that needed to be cut, but they were all pulled the same tautness before. You know, he had the benefit of step 2, and you didn't really have that for you.
As much as I like to tell my kids I have eyes in the back of my head, I don't actually. And my arms don't bend that way. So you are absolutely right. I do think it was an interesting technique. I am glad I tried it, but like, no, there is some regret because like I am really fighting to get my hair to clump together right now. It's not.
Well, it looks lovely and it looks lovely straight. So guys, if you were in the same boat as Courtney and your waves are falling flat right now, but they are still looking luscious and healthy like Courtney's hair, there is nothing to fear. Like, go with it. Be cool. You can just continue. A lot of wavies I know tend to wear their hair a little straighter this time of year. Like, it's just, they just embrace the looser wave, embrace the looser curl, and there's nothing wrong with that. But man, I find that we're in an interesting time right now. I was talking about this with my first client in my chair this morning here in Dallas. And she was like, it was so interesting in 2016, 17, 18, maybe 19, when everybody was wanting to embrace their waves and curls. It was like a time. It was a time where everybody,
it was fun.
It was an interesting time because there was just a collision of a lot of things happening where we really didn't have that many curly or wavy specific hair products. And people were just kind of learning, oh, my hair can be this way and this can be accepted. And I would like to, thank people of all different nationalities and cultures for continuing to push for that and wear their hair in that way, so that wavies, white wavies like us, can wear our hair that way too. Like, what a gift, after not having, having had the privilege of wearing it straight for such a long time, and now being able to do something different, it means a lot. So
I don't think the box that we fit ourselves into in the 90s, bless the 90s. I am nostalgic for some parts of the 90s and early 2000s. Like, I am so nostalgic for some of that time. But one of the things that made it so difficult was there was one tiny little box that you could fit into where you were pretty and acceptable, or at least that's how social media, it wasn't social media. Wow. It was just media in general at the time.
The movies, the TV shows, everything showed you what you needed to be.
And I don't think that was good. I don't think that was good for anybody emotionally, but I also don't think it was good for anybody's hair. And being able to learn what techniques were better for your hair so that we can have the healthiest hair of our lives, which also then makes it way easier to manage and deal with on a day-to-day basis, is magical. And I am so grateful that this became so popular in 2019 and 2020.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the embracing of oneself that came along with that, like you were talking about, I realized I am fearfully and wonderfully made, right? You realize that the hair doesn't have to define you. But if you are struggling with this season, whether it's really hot where you are or really cold where you are, if it's an extreme of some kind, I mean, let's go back to that. It's all about hydration. So like, I'm going to add that to the table to build on what you said. It's all about adding another layer of leave-in conditioner, or adding a cream under your gel, right? Assuming that you're using a gel. I'm going to come back to that one because that's one that I did not hear you touch on, that I'm about to just like rake over the coals, because that one is huge. So it is time to change up your routine a little bit. One of my clients this morning was telling me, I've got my summer and spring routine, I've got my fall and winter routine. One of the things that she does that works really well for her is a foam under her gel in the spring and summer. It's all she needs. But a cream, some extra leave-in conditioner before that, and a cream under her gel makes all the difference in fall and winter when those dew points drop. And let's talk about how to find the dew point really quickly, because I know I talk about this all the time. But if you're new here, if you haven't heard this before, the dew point tells you more than the actual humidity. So if you open up your weather app, I like AccuWeather, and you scroll up, you're going to get this little thing that says see more. Hit see more, and it's going to tell you the dew point. The dew point is 23. That is so dry. So it doesn't actually matter what the humidity is, which is 20%, because the humidity plays off of the dew point. So that just told us it's actually way drier, because holy moly, look at you. So
all right,
a dew point of 23. Let me explain one more thing really quickly. The happy hair range is like 30 to 35 dew point up to like 60 to 65 dew point. That's your happy range. That's your, I don't even need a foam. I don't even need a gel. My hair is so happy. Like, it's the happiest thing in the world. I'm envisioning Elf, you know what I mean? Like running through the streets. So that is when you don't necessarily need anything extra. But when you get above that or beyond that, the world is pulling, the air is pulling moisture out of your hair. So that's when adding a cream under your gel to maintain some of that can be very, very helpful. Okay, Courtney, you were saying.
I just wanted to show, you are just fine. I wanted to show a different app just in case that you didn't have AccuWeather. This is just the standard weather app from iPhone. You can also find dew point very easily by scrolling down to the humidity section, and it will tell you the dew point. Again, humidity and dew point are not the same thing.
Yeah, don't even look at the humidity.
They're relative, like they are related. Dew point is regulated by the temperature, the air pressure, and the humidity. So humidity does play into dew point, but don't worry about humidity. It can be 100% humidity, but be a low dew point, and your hair is going to react like it's a low dew point, not like it's a high dew point. So I have
telling you how much room between the air molecules there is for a water molecule to hang out.
Allison, this is the first time I've ever seen this. My humidity and my dew point are the exact same right now.
Is it raining outside or is it foggy?
No. It's a clear sunny day. It's 29.
Oh, no, it's your temperature. It's when your it's when your dew point and your temperature.
It is gorgeous outside.
Well, it was foggy the other day and our dew point was 44 and our temperature was 46. And when I noticed it was foggy, I immediately went to look at that and there it was. So it was hanging out.
We have somebody in our comments right now saying that their dew point today is 0 degrees with 93% humidity. Okay.
Are you in Antarctica? Where are you? Are you in Russia?
I mean, if you're comfortable sharing where you are, we're not sharing your name.
I love a ballpark. I'd love a ballpark because that does sound that is very dry. I mean, I don't know that I think I've seen a 7-degree dew point in Texas in the Dallas area before, but I have not seen that. Wow, that's a lot. She says she's Canada. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Okay, so 100%, like your scalp is probably dry. Your hands are dry, your eyes are dry, your hair is dry. 100% add a cream under your gel. Now I want to talk about gel real quick. The number one thing that I see is that you're not using enough gel. This is the biggest one. You aren't using enough gel, Courtney.
Allison, I find that in the winter, I need more gel than in the summer.
Yes. Because your hair is so thirsty and that gel is more than likely water-based and your hair is sucking it up while at the same time your hair is drying, the air is sucking the water out of that. Oh yeah.
Lovely sound effect there.
100%. I love that. Love that. Let's do that again. Reminds me of what's the Billie Eilish album where she starts it by sucking the spit out of her retainer?
I have no idea.
Oh my gosh. It cracks me up. I think it's her first or second album where yes, it's hilarious. But that's what that sounded like. So let's not do that again. But
Right. Okay. Well, we'll save the humans from having to hear that ever again.
Oh, I love it. But gel is the key. Gel is the key to happiness. If you aren't using a gel because you're like, I'm afraid of the crunch, please try a gel. I mean, I personally love the Hair Story new styling gel. It is not a crunchy gel. My last client that just left, who I'm going to make be on the podcast with us, she was like, I like the new gel, but I'm just not really getting a cast from it. So there are a couple of things that you can do. Getting a cast in the wintertime can be really important because you're sort of sealing that hair off to a degree, like from losing moisture. Okay. So you're keeping water within your curl families and allowing that to cure slowly so that when that water dissipates slowly, you're staying more hydrated. And long-term hydration is the key to waves that keep on waving. As I talked about last time and in a recent reel that I put on Instagram, my barometer bits here in the front, I have a couple of pieces of hair that grow kind of right above my ears. I've noticed that in this season of my life, for whatever reason, they are super dry and they tend to really lose curl. They lose wave overnight. So one of my goals in the challenge is to try to find a way to keep those barometer bits from losing so much moisture. And one of the things I was playing with is putting a second layer of gel just on those pieces when I'm diffusing. So halfway through diffusing, re-dampen them a little bit with just water from the tap, add a little bit of gel to my hand, smooth that over, scrunch it in, and it is actually really working. So this is day 2, and I didn't have to do anything to refresh today, which is a major improvement over my day 2 from the last few weeks of especially doing this challenge. So I've learned a thing. So gel, second layer of gel halfway through diffusing, make sure you're using a cream or something underneath it, but really use more gel.
Absolutely. And guys, I am just running through the comments, reading those, and y'all are really hyping us up, and you're filling my little bucket full of hope and joy and butterflies by being so kind. Thank you for giving so many words of affirmation in the comments. Y'all are deeply appreciated. I do want to remind y'all are free to ask questions in the comments, and we will be answering those throughout the podcast. So if you do ask a question in the comments, it really does help us out if you use like the red question mark emoji. That way we can really see the question. It like pops at us. If you can't, that's fine. We'll still try and catch every question that we can, but just wanted to remind you, if you've got a burning question that you would like to hear me and Allison's thoughts on, feel free to ask it in the comments.
I would like to thank Jeffrey for letting us know that he loves our podcast and looks forward to it every single week. My gosh, that's so amazing. Our friend Down Quillivon is telling us that Courtney has changed her hair life. That's pretty amazing. Wow. There's the compliment you live for. There are your words of affirmation.
Yes,
I love this one from Jennifer. She says, I wish you could talk to your hair like you do plants and it would grow. Friend, I'm not saying that doesn't work. Have you tried it? Because I saw a very interesting, oh my gosh, what was it? There was a study being done. It was probably like a headline that I read on Instagram somewhere, like you do. And it was talking about talking to your body like you would talk to like your child or your pet or like a loved one, right? Like, so I sliced the daylights out of my finger with my unguarded razor the other day because I just hit the end of it. Just
Allison, you have an unguarded razor?
Yes, I do, and I love it, and I will continue to use it. And do not tell me.
I need to chat more about that because that sounds
I love her. On some hair types, but I did manage to get my thumb. And instead of talking to this like, oh, I injured my thumb or like I did this, I said, my thumb is healing. I mean, I would just tell, my thumb is healing. There's something going on there. And I would tell my thumb it is healing. I probably sound super woo-woo, but really like talking to yourself and your body in a kind way, in a optimistic way can make such a big difference in how you spin it. So maybe we should try talking to our hair as if we wanted it to grow more. Like I'm so proud of the growth you have. Huh?
I absolutely love this. Yeah. And as somebody, I'm a Christian and I like to be very careful with the woo because I have a tendency to go too far with everything, if you haven't noticed. But it is, in some sense, a little bit biblical because words, we have the power of life and death in the tongue, right? Like, let's speak life over ourselves. Does that mean that we can prosperity gospel our hair into growing past our waist? No, it doesn't. We can't just speak it into existence. But we can speak good things over ourselves. I love the concept of like talking to yourself like you would talk to your child. You would never, well, I'm not saying never. Maybe there are some parents who do this. And if you are, let me see you in a back alley for 5 minutes. But you would never talk to yourself and say, you're fat, you're ugly. You would never say that to your child. But we do that every time. That is such a thing I see happening all the time. They look in the mirror and they go, oh, I look so bad today. Who would say that to their child? If you wouldn't say it to your child, don't say it to yourself. Even if I
remember seeing all the like
on that thought and replace it immediately with the truth, which is that you are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God and you are deeply loved. So stop with the meanie words.
Do you remember back in the like the gentle parenting, like early days, one of the things you'd see on the internet all over the place was, are you your child's first bully?
No, I never heard that. But that would
I sometimes think the gentle parenting stuff can be a whole different level. I won't get into that, but I do think that it's a valid question to ask, are you your own first bully?
Right.
You know,
I know I'm my worst bully. That's for sure.
But where did we learn to talk to ourselves that way? And why do we do it? Like, let's let that go. And I do think when you talk about there are power in words, there's energy in words. There's the energy in the words that you use. And I just think that like, you could use different words in a different tone and a different level of kindness. And maybe your hair will grow to your waist. We'll see.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I had popped one up real quick because I saw this particular statement. Where you live in the world means hair has to cope with sudden extremes. She's talking about indoors where it's dry, outside where it's wet, very cold. Let's also talk about, at least in the US, the time change. If you noticed a major shift in like how much hair you lost, did you get sick right after the time change? Like we all suddenly had all the things. Yep. The time change is so hard on our cortisol. It's really not a natural thing. And I would like to applaud Arizona for saying, we're just not going to do that anymore, because I don't want to do that anymore.
Texas came really close this year. I am crossing my fingers and toes for next year.
And I don't even care. I don't care if it's natural time. I don't care if it's daylight savings time. Pick one.
I care. I want it to stay on the summer schedule. I know that's not even the right one. I want the summer schedule. If I get a vote, I am voting that we just stay on the summer schedule.
My mom feels the same way. She's like, no, like we need to be on natural time or whatever. And I'm like, no time is natural, Susan. I mean, let's be honest. Like time has been a man-made construct and my love language is late. So like too late. I tell my clients when they come in 5 minutes late, they're like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, you're speaking my love language. But the time change, we need to get rid of that. So if you did notice more shedding, if you noticed a change in your mood, if you got sick, the time change has a lot to do with some of these things too. So like the real reasons your hair is not waving, the weather, the water. You also might have traveled over the Thanksgiving holiday and we're using water elsewhere. I'm going to talk about the Grateful Curls Challenge for just a second, if you'd like to, unless there was a question you found you wanted to pop up that looked like a great one.
There was a good question. Also, you've touched on it, but I want to flesh it out just a more. Stress affects your hair. Hair is weird, and the full length of your hair will be affected by the stress that you are going through. So if you're experiencing stress, the very science
that's woo-woo. That's woo-woo, Courtney, but you better own it.
It is woo, but it also see, this is I go with the woo. I just try and put checks and balances on myself. Anyway, you would think the sciencey part of Courtney's brain says that the stress that you experience for X number of days would only affect X number of millimeters of hair growth that was growing during the time of that stress. It's not true. If you are experiencing more stress, it affects the entirety of your hair length, even if your hair goes down to your booty.
Do you have scientific proof to back that up? Have you found scientific proof?
Of course not, because hair is dead.
No, Inner Sense talks all the time about hair is alive, you know? And I thought at first that was crazy, but now, and I think I've talked about this before, I might have talked about this last season. Have you noticed when you have the flu, when you've been like yakking, like you've been really sick, within a week or so of that, your hair looks terrible. Like it is not in your head. I believe, Courtney, this is what I believe. Tell me if you find scientific proof, because you will like research the heck out of this. I believe that this is a nutrient storage ground. It doesn't make sense for us to grow hair this long just in one place on our bodies. Like I think this is also to compensate for not having hair all over our bodies, which would be a nutrient storage ground. I think that long hair is a nutrient storage ground that when you got nothing left inside, your body's like, let me take out of that. And it does.
I could see it being able to, because of how the cortex and the medulla interact with your body, even if you don't have a medulla because your hair is like perfectly straight. Oh my goodness.
They can still have a medulla. It's whether if it's a very, very fine hair strand, sometimes they don't have a medulla. But if it's a coarser or a medium sized hair strand, we're talking about the diameter of the hair strand, it can or cannot have a medulla. Medulla is a little empty balloon.
This needs to be studied because, girl, I'm connecting this with my own lived experience, and I have rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune condition which affects my joints. When my hair is longer, I think I notice less flares. When I whacked my hair off real short, I went through a really tough period. And when it was bleached. Now, could there have been other factors? Totally. But
wait. Chicken or egg? When you were having that flare up also, did your hair look worse during that time?
Of course it did. Of course it did.
Gosh. That is
I felt like Garbaggio. So let's table that. This is a great subject to let my sciencey brain chew on later.
Let it marinate. Let it marinate.
Let it marinate. But Olivia asks, I need some help with gel diluted by wet hair and styling and knowing what is too much gel. Olivia, there's no such thing as too much gel right now. That the limit does not exist. You can keep going, especially if you're applying gel on sopping, soaking wet hair. I can almost guarantee you haven't used enough gel. That increases when the price of your gel decreases. So if you are using Eco Gel, you can use palmfuls of that bad boy and never use too much. I have found that the higher quality your gel, or sorry, not quality, wrong wording. The higher no, wait, that was the right wording. I need more coffee. This is great. The higher the quality of your gel, the less you can use. For example, I create hold from InnerSense. You don't
I think what you meant too is concentration, because a higher quality gel is often more concentrated. Do you disagree?
I don't know.
I didn't know if you were thinking that those were interchangeable terms.
I am not privy to the formulations and concentration of water in each of these gels. And this is what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the Wee Dad Stronger Hold Gel. That thing is runny, which makes you think higher water concentration. However, I still don't need to use that much of it to get a really good result. And it's a higher end product. It's a very high quality product. Oh, Allison's going to grab, I think, the Bounce Curl gel.
The Bounce Curl or the I Create Volume?
I Create Volume. I said the wrong thing.
Water is the first ingredient. Aloe vera leaf gel is the second ingredient. So really moisturizing there. And then we've got guar gum as the third ingredient.
So knowing how much gel to use when you're applying on soaking wet hair and it's being diluted. Yes, it is going to be diluted because of the amount of water in your hair. You go off of feel, but in the beginning, when you're learning your hair, you have no feel. You don't know what works and what doesn't. How can you figure that out? I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to make people mad. You document it. You get some teaspoon measurers. You apply it at the same time in your wash day. So if you have gotten your leave-in conditioner in your hair, you add X amount of water to your hair, whether that's like a 10-second soak in the shower or like a 3-second soak in the shower, and then you count to 10 and then you apply the gel. Like we're measuring the amount of water. If you want to get that nitty gritty picky, you absolutely can, or you can just roughly apply it at the same exact time in your wash day. So the same amount of water is in your hair every time, and measure the amount of gel that you're using and just keep increasing the amount of gel every wash day until you do, in fact, actually hit a point where you go, oh, wow, that was a lot. But you'll be surprised at how much gel your hair can hold, especially right now while it's cold.
That used to be a comment that I got on my YouTube videos all the time was, oh my gosh, how much product are you using? That's way too much, this and that. But like, remember that like your hair is a sponge. Each individual hair is a little tiny sponge. And if you had a wet sponge sitting on the counter and you dumped a whole bunch of gel on it, like it would absorb, it would soak into it, right? But if you had a dry sponge sitting there on the counter, it would kind of sit on top. And so that's one of the reasons when we talk about when you use a gel that maybe you don't want as much of a cast from, but you want your hair to absorb more of it, use it on wetter hair. When you do that, your hair is going to actually absorb more of it. I don't know how that might impact your own personal long-term results, because I would need to know more about your hair. But overall, I would say that you would be absorbing more of that product. So you'd be getting more of the nutrition from that product, for example, and less of the actual hold. Whereas if you apply your gel on slightly drier hair, if you scrunch out a lot of the water with your hands, or if you scrunch out some of the water with a towel of some sort, and then you apply that gel is going to float on the surface of that dry sponge hanging from your head, and you're going to get more of a cast. Is one way better than the other? It really depends on your hair, what the kind of look you're going for. Do you want a lot of definition? Do you want more volume? We're all going for healthier hair. So I can't say that one way is better than the other for influencing your hair health. But when you talk about like hair and water and gel and all those things combined, like those ratios really matter. And when Courtney talks about documenting, we have said it a million times. This is part of the reason we're doing this Grateful Curls Challenge. And if you don't have this guide, Courtney has it in her profile somewhere. I have it in my profile somewhere. You can find it in my link. I think your link tree, for example. I have a bio.site that's in my Instagram handle. You can find this guide there, but this is an easy way. We're tricking you guys into documenting. Like, that's what's happening here if it wasn't.
And this is where Allison and I complement each other so well. I wanted to give y'all way too much, like overwhelm you with different ways you could document it. And Allison was like, no, we really want them to document. And if we make it too complicated, Courtney, they're not going to document. So,
and you're so sweet for saying that, which is not true. But I have learned from having children, and I'm going to mom all of y'all right now. Here's the deal. You have to struggle to learn. I cannot just hand it all to my children and say, oh gosh, don't struggle. Let me make this easy for you all of the time. You got to tune into this podcast. You got to listen to the things that we're talking about in terms of when we talk about technique, like let's talk about what those techniques could look like. We've talked about a lot of them today. Did you hear? We talked about applying your gel on sopping wet versus semi-dry damp hair. We've talked about applying a cream under your gel. We've talked about using a foam under your gel. We've talked about diffusing versus not. So there are a lot of technique changes that you can do, but you've got to experiment to learn. And
as much as we would love to, we can't go into each of your bathrooms and be with you every single time you wash your hair. We cannot do this for you. So yes, you are going to have to struggle to learn. Y'all are going to have to wash and style your own heads unless you come see me or Allison in our chairs at our studios, which y'all are welcome to do. I am in Abilene, Texas. And if you feel like getting a haircut with me, you are absolutely welcome to hop on the Swavy Curly Cut waitlist. Go to swavycurlycourtney.com and get on that wait list if you're interested. Allison, how can they book with you if they really do want you to show them on their own head?
I would love to. So you can book with me virtually. You can also come into my studio in Dallas, Texas. It's a very easy flight. I have clients that come in from Seattle, from Boston. I have a virtual session with someone in Australia later this week. Like, we're here for you guys. Like, we want to help you. That's why we do these podcasts and things. We want to see you. So you can find those resources at AllisonLupo.com. That is ALYSON, because mama had to be different. Lupo.com, and just click salon. You can find those things. There are also classes on my website. Dry hair is one that I did a year or two ago, and it still holds true.
Applicable right now. Yeah.
Thank you. It was one that I was like, this is the time that everybody struggles the most. So like, to circle back full, the real reason your hair, your waves are not holding is because the weather changed. And when the weather changes, we have to change our routines as well. So that's the thing.
I did want to share a bit of a check-in with what I am learning. I decided to completely go out of my comfort zone and use products for the Grateful Curls Challenge that are not in my normal wheelhouse. So I have been using the Hair Story New Wash, the Hair Story Gel, which I am growing to love more and more each time I use it. And my clarifying products were the scalp line from Inner Sense. So their scalp shampoo and their scalp conditioner. Love those. And the Fenty Beauty curl cream. I am figuring out that maybe I still have yet to use
your hesitation around that. You were like, you almost held your nose as you said that one. What happened?
I'm sorry. I really wanted to love that Fenty Beauty cream, but that's another thing. I locked myself into products for 30 days. And I knew after the third time I used that product that it was just maybe not my ideal product.
What's in it? What's the scoop? What's wrong with it? What does it do?
It is so unique, Allison. One, I figured out that it is kind of heat activated. So if I don't diffuse my hair on high heat, my hair feels weird, like gritty and grippy and not. I tend to love a really nice slippy feel in my hair. If my hair feels tangly or too gritty, I get kind of panicky. But so the Fenty Beauty really does need to be activated with heat. Here's what I love. The Hair Story Gel has heat protection up to 450 degrees. Oh, my lands. Can we start doing this in every hair gel, please? Like, then we wouldn't have to be afraid to diffuse our hair.
You know what it is? Hold on though.
Oh, pause.
What is the ingredient? What is the ingredient that lends the heat protection element? Where is it?
You tell me, Miss Allison. I just was trusting Hair Story by reading the back of the bottle. Because on the label, it does say heat protection up to 450 degrees.
I am wondering if it is the SD alcohol 40B.
It could be.
And I think that the reason that we don't see that in a lot of gels that are trying to be curly girl friendly is that they think you're going to read that and go, oh, I don't want to use that one because it's got alcohol in it. But really, like, it provides a really important purpose. So I'm going to guess that that's it, but I'm going to research that later. So y'all keep me honest. If you read something else that I don't see, I really do want to know what it is.
And then last thing for my Grateful Curls Challenge check-in, because of the weather change, I am beginning to have amazing issues with my scalp. Like I am really bumping into some itching, some folliculitis, just general inflammation. So I am maybe using my clarifying routine more often than my regular wash day routine, just to keep that inflammation in check, which leads me to my product spotlight. I have added one more friend to the Grateful Curls Challenge, and that is the InnerSense Harmonic Treatment Oil. I use this as a pre-poo treatment because I am clarifying my hair a lot, like maybe every other wash, if not back-to-back washes, because of how frustrated my scalp is currently. So what I did is I grabbed one pump of this, put it on my fingers, massaged it into my scalp, grabbed one more pump of this and put it on the lengths of my hair, let it sit for 30 minutes to an hour. And then I washed my hair and then I let it air dry. So this is Courtney's product-free air dried hair. The looser waves are looser waving. Allison, do you have a product spotlight for this?
I do have a product spotlight. I actually have a couple because I wanted one that related to our kind of two topics today. So one that relates to our Grateful Curls Challenge and one that relates to why our waves are not holding. Okay, I'm gonna talk about them both. I'm gonna talk about this first one because I think this will help you. The InnerSense True Enlightenment Scalp Scrub.
I almost added that. I used that for the first time right before we started this challenge. I loved it. It's so good. It has sea salt, so it like melts and dissolves.
And it's not that it's just sea salt, because there's another brand, I can't think of what it is, that has a kind of similar scalp scrub, but their crystals are really huge. These crystals are so small. That they dissolve and it doesn't leave you with any residue. I have used so many scalp scrubs or products over the years that leave something in your scalp, and I absolutely hate that. So, Courtney, if you have this sitting around your house, if you have flakes, if you have any kind of scalp issues at all, this is the time of year to really bust that out. I have long loved this one. And I have links to this in my bio site as well, if that's helpful for you guys. The True Enlightenment Scalp Scrub is so helpful because it contains a mild surfactant. Let me see if I can read the back of the bottle so you don't have to.
It doesn't foam up really, but that surfactant just helps it smooth and spread really beautifully.
It does. It really helps you get a deeper clean on your scalp. And so the sodium cocoyl-acethionate and the cocamidopropyl hydroxysultane, along with the stearic acid and mysteric acid, are moisturizing at the same time that they are giving you a deeper clean on your scalp. And if you're loving things like Hair Story New Wash on the length of your hair, but your scalp needs a little bit more, this is a great something to use like before you even use New Wash. So I will get my hair wet and then use take a scoop of this out. But I don't like jars. So I'm kind of like, oh, let me use a wand or something to get it out.
Pause really quick and give Allison a round of applause for how she pronounced those ingredients names.
I hope I did it right. I hope I said them all right.
You rolled right through it. It was glorious. Okay. Continue. I am so sorry to interrupt. You get your spatula.
No, you're so funny. So those ingredients are going to give you a deeper clean. It's not going to leave residue on your scalp. So wet your hair, take a scoop of that. I like to take a scoop of it and put it on the back of my hand, and then I take bits of it and put it where I need it. And then I smush it all in and like really give my scalp, because remember, your scalp is the skin you never think about, because if it's hiding under your hair, it's out of sight, it's out of mind, you can't see it, you think it's fine. Go ahead and like give her some love, like scrub that in really good, rinse, and then go right in with your Hair Story New Wash if you're on the same sort of routine that I am. So I actually needed to use that recently because I did something. I'm going to show you what I did. This was a mistake. Okay, so we decided that on this Grateful Curls challenge, we were going to share our wins and fails, and I have a fail. Okay. Look at this little tiny that I'm holding up if you're watching this.
Cute.
This little tiny 3-ounce package of Hair Story New Wash. It is resealable. You tear across the top and then it's a resealable thing. This is a little travel size New Wash. And I bought several of these this summer. I had some clients that were going out of town. So some clients wanted these. I've been giving these to my clients that are traveling for Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc. It's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with this product. But what I did this summer was I took this with me to Mexico. I used this in Mexico and I thought I had done a good job of resealing it, and I did not. And so I took it with me over the Thanksgiving break and I used it, and I was like, well, it smells fine. It seems fine. I'm not going to worry about it because like it seemed fine, Courtney. Right. But I had used it in the shower and stuck my hand in there and scooped it, and my scalp was mad at me. And I thought, well, that can't possibly be it because I am dumb as a doornail. So I'm going to use it again. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to use it when I get back from this game. You talk about like itching your scalp and having like goo under your fingernails. Like, I mean, I hate to talk about it, but we've all experienced it, right?
Oh, you're making me itch my own scalp.
She is now in the trash. Like did not, maybe even if I did reseal it, I got water in there. So this little 3-ounce, y'all, this is to use on one trip and then you throw her away, okay? Right. Because when you get water in a product, it changes everything because water is the giver of all life. So that was where the InnerSense True Enlightenment Scalp Scrub was not on my Grateful Curls challenge sheet, but we were on the struggle bus and I had to do something. Yep, you've got your harmonic healing oil. I've got my scalp scrub. And then I used...
P.S. We are not sponsored by InnerSense. InnerSense, feel free to hit us up. But no, guys, these are just products that we love.
Love InnerSense. Love InnerSense. We're not really sponsored by anybody. We're just talking about brands. We're like, yeah, we make a little commission when you buy products from us. So thank you for trusting in our recommendations. But this is not a sponsored podcast. No. Maybe one day we will have sponsors on this podcast, but we will vet them and make sure we actually already like them. So but they're already getting free advertisements. So why would they?
And I did want to say, I didn't mention this, but before we jumped on the podcast, I actually put some of the oil on my hands as lotion. It already soaked in so beautifully and thoroughly. I'm adding one more layer because we dry, we crusty.
Did you know that you can actually rub any of the InnerSense conditioners into your hands like lotion, and it will absorb fully. Like it's going to absorb on your scalp anyway. Like it's amazing to see that happen on your hands because it's fully silicone free and like very skin friendly. I love InnerSense. Can I talk about how much I love them? They're incredible, and they've been doing this forever. Like I started using them when they were still in the brown bottles, like the brown round bottles with the cream colored logos a million years ago. So anyway, Courtney, I wanted to show you that one because I didn't know if you'd played with it.
Thanks.
But my product spotlight, not to like hog the product spotlight, is Hair Story Undressed. So I'm picking it up because it's a wonderful texturizing spray. So like when the ends of your hair are feeling a little like the curl has fallen out and your waves again are not holding, a little bit of this on your waves.
On your barometer bits?
On my barometer bits, right? On the barometer bits, a little spritz, and it smells so good. It's like a vintage rose fragrance. And then you hit it with the diffuser because it is heat activated. I'm sure this one has heat protection also, but it is this protects your hair from damaging UV rays. So I'm sure it is heat activated. I mean, heat protection also. But it just brings the curl back. It gives you a little bit of grit. It is a texture spray that is salt free, and I love and adore it. But I want to go back to one thing really quickly. You talked about how the New Wash was not quite enough for your scalp right now in this season. Yeah. Have you tried what's it called?
Micellar
pre-wash. The pre-wash micellar scalp rinse, because I recommend this for all of my clients that have tons of hair like you, and they just need a liquid to kind of get to their scalp, and then they can stick with New Wash. Was this working for you? How did this work? Because I know you have some.
I tried it. So it is getting to the point, and honestly, I think I may have tried too hard and pushed too hard to make something work that I should have listened to the warning signs before. But it's gotten to the point where, like, I know I'm going to wash my hair in the morning, but at night before I go to bed, I can't stop thinking about my scalp because it's itching and inflamed and hurting. So I'll get up in the morning with my scalp hurting, put the micellar water on, and it feels so much better, like instantly.
Wow.
It makes that inflamed itch go away. And then I go in with the new wash. Unfortunately, I'm in a point where by the end of the day, again, I start feeling that inflammation, even though I just washed my hair the morning of. Not sure what's going on. You know, there's a lot of factors going on. I'm kind of stressed. Why? Because, like, I've got a lot of fun things happening. I graduated cosmetology school. I'm taking my exams so that I can get licensed in the state of Texas to hold sharp objects and cut your hair. So figuring out a booth or a suite to rent so that I can start seeing you guys in person. I'm very excited. Lots of exciting things. Plus, it's the holidays. So, like, also holiday fun, which is fun, but it's also a little bit stressful. That could be totally it. And I threw in something new, and I, like, committed to using the thing that was new for X number of days, and this wasn't the time to do that. You know what? We live and we learn. It is.
But fun. You know what? You're learning. You signed yourself up to stick with some things during this Grateful Curls challenge. So if you guys are doing this along with us, and you've gotten to a point where you realize that something is not working, I'm going to give you permission to pivot.
Yep.
Again, like I say all the time, no one's coming to your house to arrest you, to stop you. You learned a thing. You have permission to pivot from the thing and do what works for you. So learning you and doing you is the most important thing in the world. So you do you, boo. Okay?
Absolutely. Cecilia has a great question. I love this question. What about the mess? This ties into, like, our spatula conversation.
Yes.
I am brush styling at the bathroom counter, and extra product drips everywhere. Also, hairspray, overspray makes the floor sticky. Do you have any suggestions? Why, yes, Cecilia. Why, yes, I do. Multiple, but take them with a grain of salt and pick which one you want to do. One, they make fog-proof mirrors. You can take a mirror into your shower or, like, set it up in your tub. If you're like me, I have a little ledge that I could put a mirror on in my tub, and I could do the brush styling in the tub with a cutesy little mirror. If that's not enough for you, if you need a wider angle and the only option is for you to stand in front of your counter on your, like, big mirror in front of your big mirror next to your counter, get your terry cloth towel and lay it on the floor and stand on your terry cloth towel, or maybe have an extra, like, drippy catching terry cloth towel. Just put that on the floor.
The floor towel. That's your floor towel. It's never going to be a body towel. It's a floor towel.
And the hairspray issue, totally understand that. You don't necessarily need to see super well when you're spraying that hairspray. If you get it in the general vicinity of your hair, it's going to work. So you could absolutely do hairspray in the shower without, being afraid. I understand, like, the brush styling, we may need a wider angle. We may need to be able to see better. We need a bigger mirror, but you can maybe step into your shower real quick, hit it with the hairspray, and then come out and have no stickiness everywhere.
I have really learned that I like to do brush styling on my clients when their hair is actually not dripping wet and before I put product in. So there's not a lot of drippage. So think about the order. Like, if you're going back to this Grateful Curls challenge again, think about the order in which you're doing things. You don't have to brush style your hair when the product is already in, and you don't have to do it when your hair is dripping wet. So, like, if your hair is on the damp side, maybe you spritz it if you want to after you're done. But you can, yes, like Courtney said, you need a wider angle. Like, do it out in front of the sink after you use maybe a microfiber towel or just your hands to squeeze out as much water as possible, like in the shower before you get out, and then apply, the brush here and there, and then get your products and just smooth them over. Do not rake them through. You don't want to mess up those curl clumps that you just created with the brush. Smooth them over praying hands and then scrunch that product in. You may find you make a whole lot less mess doing it that way than you might have thought that you would. And I have the same sensory issues about things going on the floor. I cannot with hairspray on the floor. Back before we ripped the carpet out of our house that we did this summer, I would take hairspray when I used hairspray and walk out of my bathroom to get away from the tile and use hairspray on my hair or like texture spray or something like over the carpet because I couldn't stand for it to be on the floor. So I feel you there. I don't have a good one for that. That's where the towel comes into play. That's where it's like, you know what? Go back and stand in your shower. Like if I have a bathtub shower, I don't know if you have like a standing shower, but I go stand in my bathtub and pull the thing across and then spray what I need to spray because I don't want that to land anywhere. I would not even, I'm not above going outside to use things like hairspray and texture spray just because
fair.
I've got like a little courtyard door from my bedroom that we can walk out. We're in a courtyard. And I would just step out there and be like, nope, this is not going to be on my floor. So it is a problem, but the towel on the floor, the towel on the counter trip works wonders.
We have a question from Sarah that says, my hair looks better on day 3 than wash day. My hair is low density and my scalp shows on top on wash day. Do you have any tips? I would say the best tip I can give you for this is to do a back handspring and be so excited that your hair looks better on day 3 than on wash day. You are what I wish to be. Envy is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. I'm comparing myself to you. Girl, I haven't seen a day 3 in a hot minute. So if you can make it to day 3, that's awesome.
Let's dig into what she likes about day 3. On day 3, she's less defined. She's more voluminous. It's been slept on. So maybe the goal is not definition. For most of my lower density clients, the goal is not definition because then it looks like you have 6 hairs because they're all clumped up together. So the goal becomes...
So don't do my routines. Just stop watching my videos. Go watch Allison instead.
Yes. Because Courtney is all definition and she has mastered definition, and definition is a beautiful, beautiful thing, especially on people that have a lot of hair and they don't want it to be huge. They want it to be controlled, and that makes perfect sense. But definitely I would say, number 1, to change up that routine so that you're going more for a little bit more volume and less definition. That means maybe a lighter gel or less gel. That means using a foam under your gel to kind of give it some volume, some oomph.
I would say sprays, texture sprays.
Texture sprays for sure. So in the products realm, I would definitely look at changing things up that way. If you're air drying, I would definitely diffuse dry instead. I would pixie diffuse dry, which means I would get my dryer diffuser combo here and mid shaft up, bring that hair up so you have this nice bump at the top and you are creating lift. Hair Story also makes a product called I Create Lift. It's like a really strong hairspray that you can spritz at your roots. And I mean from like a distance of like 12 to 18 inches away, like 1 or 2 spritzes, and then you diffuse, and it really does help to hold lift at the roots. There's really nothing that can give you lift. It's coming from this technique of using the dryer diffuser combo, but it's being held in place by a product that is designed to do something like that, which could be helpful. And my last tip is to mattify your scalp. So use something like Hair Story powder if you don't want color. If you want color, there's a brand called, I think it's Toppik. It's Toppik, and they make colorful. You can choose your color. Is it red? Is it auburn? Is it cool brown? Is it a warm brown? Is it blonde? You can choose your hair color, your natural hair color, root color. A lot of people will use this too when their gray is growing out and they're not ready for that to be seen yet, those kinds of things. But this one is specifically to make your hair look thicker at the root. So Toppik is mattifying on the scalp. The color matches your natural root color, and it has a thickening. I can't remember the name of the ingredient. It might be a bentonite clay. It creates a thickness at your root. So you also get lift that way. So you can kind of use it as a styling product. So those are my tips for making it look like you have more hair. But the last thing is this, like, and I know this is not really your question, but a lot of people will tell me, I feel like I don't have any hair on my wash day, because when their hair is wet, they can see their scalps. And I want you to know right now that that does not count. Just because you can see your hair, your scalp, when your hair is wet, when your hair dries, it expands. You then can't see your scalp anymore. Remember that. That's the thing to remember. It doesn't count when your hair is wet. So
I just want to add a couple of tips because affordability is on the forefront of everybody's mind. That seems to be a word I hear constantly all the time now. Yeah. So a couple of like free ways to maybe make your day 1 hair match the energy of your day 3 hair is to just more aggressively fluff out your roots. And the way you can do that is to make a nice claw with your hand. There's a slight bend in your fingers. You will slide your fingers into your hair, and then you will shake your fingers back and forth. If you want extra wavy, curly bonus points, flip your hair upside down when you do this. Do it on the back of your head and do it at your roots.
And don't be afraid of frizz here. Like if Courtney's afraid of frizz doing this, remember that frizz can be functional.
Heck yes, it can. And one more tip, if you want to try a powder to mattify your scalp, but you're not necessarily wanting to run out and purchase a specific one for hair, you can test the waters a little bit with a makeup brush and your favorite eyeshadow that matches close to your natural hair color. I have seen beauty influencers do this a lot on those hairlines that they want to make look thicker. They get kind of like a giant fluffy bronzer brush and a tiny little eyeshadow brush, and they kind of like swirl it on the back of their hand to disperse the powder. And then they will tap, tap, tap that into their hairline, or they will tap, tap, tap it along their part line. And that's something, if you wear makeup, you may already have, and you can test this out.
I do that on my bald eyebrows, Courtney, right there. I got to mattify. I got to mattify that skin right there where there ain't nothing growing anymore because the 90s.
I draw mine on. I feel you. I have no real eyebrows. This is all smoke and mirrors, friends.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Jen asks, are there some cute hairstyles for wavy hair that I could wear for my orchestra concert on Monday? It has to last since I watch it in the morning. Okay. I love a great French twist on wavy hair. I don't know why that looks so stinking cute, but a French twist on wavy hair with like a little hairpin. Go to the YouTubes, type in how to do a French twist.
And the wonderful magical thing about wavy hair and curls, especially too, is that if you do something even super, super basic, people, and you have like a tendril fall down, you know, people will say, oh my goodness, your hair looks so amazing. When like, you're just like, yeah, it's just this little piece right here. Like that's all that's happening. Now, I also am not a big updo person. So one of the things that I love doing is taking like a sparkly barrette, something cheap from Target. I like to take 2 of them. And I do this sometimes when I wash my face at night because I don't like to use a headband or a scrunchie to I don't want to destroy my curls when I wash my face. I take one and I go right about like where you can feel the hollow of your temple and pull it back to about where my head changes shape, like kind of behind my ear. And I put that piece right there. Okay. And then I take the other one right above my ear where the hair grows. And I will tuck that one back like this and then loosen it. So I have these 2 pieces right here that are tucked back. And so it's an asymmetrical kind of vibe.
If you are not watching on YouTube and you're just listening, this is stunning. It's like so romantic and wispy, and maybe the back is a little bit like looser. Like you can be messier with these and it look incredible. Allison's hair never looks super messy, but also she tends to shoot for more volume than definition. So it looks incredible right now.
Just a couple pieces tucked back, like little barrette here. Just make sure that they line up with each other. So little barrette here on the backside, little barrette a little bit lower. Make sure that they are parallel to each other. And then you have this cascade of curls that you kind of feature at the back of your head. So especially if you're playing in an orchestra and you have whichever way the side of your face is facing the audience, that's where you want to put your barrettes. So if my audience was to my left, I would put those on my left side so that then I would have like a little cascade of curls that way, and it keeps the hair out of my face. And then of course, if you were facing the right, you could do it to the right side, and then the other side stays down. Super easy.
We have time for one more question. Do you see a good question, Allison, that you would like to dive into?
Oh, let me see. I saw so many good ones. Like, I want to thank you guys also just for joining us every week, for submitting your questions. I really love that we get to have an interactive conversation every time we jump on here with you guys. Like, y'all give us so many things to chat about, and it makes such a big difference because you're not the only one with this question. Everybody has this question. So I'm going to go for a more like kind of touchy-feely question, I guess. Amanda says, on self-talk, having a daughter changed everything for me. I mean, it changes, especially if she has wavy curly hair, the way you talk to her, the way you talk about your hair, all of those good kinds of things. So I know this really isn't a question so much, it's more or less a statement, but like, I just really wanted to remind you guys as we come full circle in our conversation here that the way you talk to yourself matters. I would challenge you, it's not in our Grateful Curls challenge, but I would challenge you to include kind and wonderful and welcoming and optimistic self-talk as you go into the holiday season.
Things about you. We like you. Allison likes you. I really like you. Quit talking bad to my good friend, okay?
You know what Lorraine Massey said to me one time? Oh, let me see if I can remember her words exactly. This was back in like 2018. I went to Portland, Oregon, and I met Atoya Bass for the first time, who I'd love to have on the podcast at some point in time. If she's listening, she better get on. She better say yes, because she's like my one of my wavy curly besties. And I met her for the first time, and Lorraine was there, and I met Lorraine Massey, and I said something ugly about my hair, I'm sure. And she said, in her sweet British accent, she was like, "Don't talk about yourself that way in front of yourself." And I thought it was so sweet. I've never forgotten it. So don't talk about yourself that way in front of yourself, because it makes such a big difference. So as we go into our last episode on the 17th, I believe it is, that is when we will end our challenge. We've got another great episode planned for you guys. I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to hear how your challenge is going. So be prepared to share with us your results from the challenge, what you learned about you, what you learned about your hair, what you learned you're liking, what you're learning doesn't work. We want to hear it all. So thank you for being with us today. Thank you for joining us. We love you.
Absolutely, guys. Don't be mad. Don't be sad. Don't be terribly discouraged if your waves aren't holding and your hair is falling flat. Take a deep breath. Have some grateful gratitude for the hair that you do have, even if it's only 2 hairs and they're growing out of your nose. You can be grateful for those 2 hairs.
Don't wax
the weather has changed. The length of your hair could have changed, and you're due for a good shape up and a good haircut. Maybe your application technique has shifted on you without you knowing, because you're just rushing through life and life is stressful. Maybe you're going through a season of stress and that just simply affects your hair. There are a multitude of reasons that your hair could not be behaving like it once did, and that's okay. We are here for you. We would more than anything love to help you out. Allison and I are both here ready and willing to walk you through your struggles. But that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We are grateful for each and every single one of you, and we hope you have a fantabulous rest of your week. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.